Nurture and support. Nurture and support. This is a podcast theme song. And it's really short.
Nurture and support begins in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Nurture and Support, a recommendation podcast sharing all the awesome. I'm Kelly Toole at KELLYTHUL, and on this very special episode, we might have a death. We don't know. We were pretty excited to see, because with me, as always, advancing the Amazon Prime directive, which apparently doesn't keep you healthy, is Mel.
Yeah, their health plan sucks. No, this is Mel at Karmic9 on Twitter, and I've been told that I sound really, really bad. So I'm sorry, everyone. You'll just have to suffer through it. I'll try not to talk very much. We're relying on the talents of Kelly and returning guest Alicia to carry this episode, so y'all won't have to listen to me very long.
You don't sound bad. You just sound like you've got a bug or something.
Yes, it's a very bad bug.
But we do have Alicia with us. Alicia, you want to say hi to everybody and let them know how to connect with you on Twitter?
Sure. Hi, everybody. It's good to be back. Yes, my name is Alicia. I can be Twittered at OAlchemyGirl, and that's all one word, just OHALCHEMYGIRL.
Cool people.
And how does everybody know her, Kelly? In case they haven't been listening from the very beginning.
Oh, that's true. Well, she is a frequent guest. We've had her on multiple times. She is a member of a band called Oh Alchemy, which is where Oh Alchemy Girl comes from, and has given some of our better recipe recommendations on Nurture and Support.
Yes. Yeah. She also sings our theme song.
Oh, I should be.
Plays at the beginning of every episode.
That's what you wanted me to mention.
That's okay.
Well, you edit, right? So go ahead and clean up. Let's pretend. Let's do this again. People also know her, Mel, because she does our theme song, which is totally awesome, and we really appreciate it.
We do.
Thank you.
So cool. All righty. It is so awesome. I every time I fire up the podcast, it's a nice little touch. So thank you again very much for doing that for us. You did a great job.
Oh, thank you. My pleasure.
Excellent. We may have something else to talk to you about later. By the way.
That would be great. Actually, I'm looking for a new project. Project part 2. I have the energy. It's a new year. I mean, a fresh start. Perfect timing.
Okay, cool. Well, I think maybe at the end of this show, there's something Mel and I need to we'll actually include as part of the show, but because we want to let our listeners know about some kind of new little thing that's going to be coming out, and we can talk to you about it too a little bit because we could maybe use your help.
All right, great.
Excellent. Well, I'll go ahead and get things started because you all know, as Alicia knows, I'm a huge reader. Read all the time. It's all I do. It's books. Always stay current. It's always recent stuff. This actually is a couple of those things, although I cheated because it was an audiobook, so I didn't actually have to do the hard reading part. And I was fortunate enough to be able to get the audiobook because my good buddy Mel actually hooked me up with this. And what she got me, and this come out like a Humble Bundle or something, Mel?
No, actually, this was one of my Woot deals. In case any of you don't know about it, Woot.com does a daily deal, and this was one of them a while back.
So what I'm recommending is the book Clockwork Angels. It's by Kevin J. Anderson, and Kevin's we've mentioned him before because he was one of the co-authors of the Dune. Some of the additional kind of Dune prequel books that I recommended quite a while back that he wrote with Brian Herbert. So he's a great kind of science fiction writer. And this one, and I had no familiarity with this at all, but Clockwork Angels originally was a Rush album. Matter of fact, it's the most recent Rush album. And Neil Peart their main lyricist, has always had kind of a penchant for writing kind of longer, interconnected, sci-fi fantasy type of structures into the songs. I mean, that's kind of one of his things. And so Clockwork Angels was their most recent album, and it kind of hit that territory. And so it was going ahead and it was made into a book by Kevin Anderson, and it's really good. It is really good. It is. So first, Mel's a big steampunk fan, and this is all about the steampunk. I mean, there is no question about it. And it is a very, very enjoyable listen. So I actually recommend getting the audio version because Neil Peart actually reads it. So he's the one that does the audio, which is kind of cool. Yeah. And it's a great storyline. And so I was able to kind of consume most of this back and forth from work, and actually made me want to go to work so I could listen to more. But don't want to spoil much of it. It's a really interesting story of, and I have attention span issues, retention issues. I don't know what to call it. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, and so one of the things that I always get tripped up on in books is they'll start to roll out the names of characters early on, and I have to kind of keep going back and reminding myself, I better go back and read and concentrate a little more because it's going to be important that I remember who this character is and this name, because it just kind of fades away from me. And so the first time they mentioned Owen Hardy, who is the protagonist of this book, they said his name, and I said, oh, I need to make sure I remember that. Well, not so much, because I think about 80% of the book is them saying Owen Hardy. Owen Hardy is said a lot, which is awesome, because it really helps me. I was like, oh, yeah, it's Owen Hardy. And Owen, he is the assistant manager of an apple orchard. He lives with his father, and they are in a part of, it's called Avalon is the name of the area, and he's in the part of the area that is under the purview of a gentleman called the Watchmaker. And he is everything is in its place, and there's a place for everything, and all is for the best. And this Watchmaker has basically created an environment where everything is scheduled, when you're going to get married, who you're going to get married to, what your job is. There are daily updates to say there will be a rainstorm at 8:15, and through chemistry and alchemy they can control the weather, and so there's a strong precision to the environment. And so Owen is there. He's got a girlfriend named Lavinia, and basically the path's going to be they're going to get married, and he decides to kind of break with form because he's always been a bit of a dreamer, and his mother had books about all these great places to travel, and he decides, well, I'll sneak out one night. Lavinia and I will sneak out one night and just visit under the moonlight, and she doesn't show. And this begins a process where Owen eventually makes his way to the capital, and where the Clockwork Angels are there, which is one of his biggest fascinations, is these human-sized mechanical figures that read some of the Watchmaker's prophecies and rules and all those types of things. And it's a highly structured environment. And then it kind of begins this process of him being there, and then eventually hooking up with a carnival, and getting a little less rigid, and then all of a sudden he's out in some of these other cities he's heard about, Poseidon City, across the sea, and all these types of things, which is just pretty much the opposite of the highly structured environment. The other thing that gets established really early on is there's a gentleman called the Anarchist, who is doing his level best to undo all the structure and work. And so there's this kind of battle between the Watchmaker and the Anarchist to who's going to control Owen, because they both kind of view Owen Hardy as a big influencer. So you get to see him grow and learn kind of different things, and it's Mel's mentioned on a number of her recommendations before, this kind of world building environment when someone kind of goes and creates a new universe and a new environment. This is very rich in that, between the highly structured city, the wild and woolly carnival, the people that are there, and then the other cities, and the adventures that Owen goes on through there. So it remains highly interesting throughout. It's a great. I'm not going to give much else away because you got to kind of follow this guy's arc, but definitely rings true to steampunk. One of the big things is there are a lot of the conveyances to kind of bring all the gems and chemicals needed to do the alchemy to create the weather and do all these other things and power things come from across the sea. And then they once they come across the sea, they get traveled around by these airships that basically run on railroad tracks, until the track's in, and then they take off as more of a Zeppelin and kind of travel that way. And
Cool.
it's all very kind of fascinating and interesting. So it is just, it stays interesting top to bottom. It's got a nice pace to it, very interesting characters, a couple nice little twists here and there, and kind of wraps up nicely at the end. So I think the book would be fantastic. It's clearly a good read from there. I really enjoyed the audiobook experience. So however you would like to consume it, I'm going to recommend Clockwork Angels.
Cool. I was wondering, was there any music in it at all?
Not,
It's just the audiobook.
it's just the audiobook.
Okay. I wondered about it.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I'm glad you liked it. I,
I
of
love
course, caught my eye by Steampunk, and then it said Rush, and I went, oh, that might be somebody Kelly likes. I got Kelly to read a book. I'm so happy.
That's always a challenge. Listen to it. But it was pretty, and that was, yeah. And we'll need to add to, eventually we've got to get our spreadsheet of our, nurture and supports financial impact to the economy of all the, mostly on Mel and my backs in terms of us buying each other's recommendations. But the previous recommendation from Mel regarding the As You Wish audiobook, that was a recent purchase as well, because I'm digging the audiobooks in the car. Very cool.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of audiobooks as well, and especially as much as I travel, it's just like time flies, especially when you're just engaged in the story, a great story, or it depends on what you're listening to. I listened to this audiobook with Tom Robbins narrating his own short stories and poetry, and I feel like it added a whole new dimension, a whole new way to listen to it with the author himself, just hearing his voice in the way that should be interpreted. So I love that. That's great.
Yeah. Really helps with road rage in the mornings, I have found, too.
Definitely.
Yeah, the only downside I have is that an on-time work arrival gets at risk because I'm in the parking lot and I'm like, I'm just listening a little bit more, and then I've got to eventually have to stop. But,
Yep.
especially with a good book like Clockwork Angels. So thanks, Mel, for connecting me up, and I do recommend it. So
Well,
we will, what?
The good news there is that when I bought one for you, I bought one for me, so I already have it.
There you go.
So,
the investment's already made.
Yep.
Sweet.
Cool.
So Alicia, we'll go ahead and have you go next if you are ready.
Sure. Well, so the items I have today are both music related. They're both two very different ways to listen to music, both of which I approve. But I'll start first of all with They Might Be Giants' DialASong was relaunched, I guess, this month. And I don't know if you know the history behind DialASong or what you know about They Might Be Giants. I'm a huge fan. I've been to probably 12 or 13 live shows, and it's always fun. I tell people that have never seen their show before that you're going to have a good time. You can know 0 songs and just have a great time. But DialASong started way back, a long time ago, 1983-ish time frame, where you would call this number in Brooklyn, you get a answering machine, couldn't even think of what it's called now, where it would be a song. So you listen to this song, and that's all it is. And they just took this ad out in the Village Voice. I think it was a personal ad, something that was cheap or free that they could run, and people would, call it and listen to a song. And today they've revamped it. It's DialASong.com, and now you can find a song every Tuesday. So it's a weekly new song, and it was just launched this month, I think it's the first week of January. I
think so.
So if you do listen to that, I was excited, again, just being a kind of a lifetime fan. I think it's really cool to keep the integrity of DialASong. It's just like they updated something that they started, way back when, and I think it was a really cool way to do it. And also, it's just really great. The first song is fantastic. The second one is different, and I like it as well. I love the first song, and then the third one so far is something that a friend of theirs wrote that they will use as intro music to their tour this year. So just kind of including little things like that, Someone like me, They Might Be Giants nerd like me that shows up and, I'll be like, I know where that came from, and I love stuff like that. So.
Cool.
curse you. That had been a future recommendation of mine. Is no
Is it really?
Yeah, I'm a big They Might Be Giants fan. They don't, you're getting up to Alice Cooper numbers when you talk about 12 or 13 times. It's, that's the kind of, that's what you do for Alice Cooper as you go. But
Yeah.
I've only managed to see them once, but
Okay.
it's outstanding. They are.
Yeah, they're so much fun. They always tend to bring on an opening act who they believe in. Whether it's last time we saw a band called Moon Hooch. They were these two guys. One had a saxophone, no vocals. They were found in a subway, I think, performing, and they just liked them, and had them go on a leg of their tour with them, and they were a lot of fun. So I'm hoping I get to see them again in April. So we'll see. But I really enjoy that, so I got really excited about DialASong. I didn't mean to steal your future recommendation, Bill.
It's all right.
He'll just have to do another Alice Cooper win.
Right. But my second thing that I had was almost the reverse of this, and that, like I said, a totally different way to listen to music, and that is vinyl records. I am a record collector and have been for a few years. I mean, I was as a kid, and then it just, came back that I was interested in getting a turntable. I was inspired going over to a friend's house, and I saw her record collection. It just kind of brought me back to how much I love records and how I need to have this. So I have an updated turntable. I geek out. I love putting the needle on. I love the sound that it makes. I love holding something and having the art. It's just kind of this, old-fashioned thing that I like. And I get made fun of a lot whenever I'm told that I'm going to buy a record or something. Some people don't quite understand that, but I think that's something I love about it too. But there's a community that exists out there. I don't want to say it's making a comeback because I feel like it has been, for a while now. But there are record clubs out there. There's one called Vinyl Me Please, and on Twitter they're at Vinyl Me Please. And even if you're not a member of the record club, it's something where you can just share. You can just geek out, and share what you got. A lot of times, they'll say, "What are you spending today?" Take a picture and you tweet that. It's just something that you and this community can kind of bond. That you're listening to the same thing and in this format that you love so much. So I really enjoy that. And then also just my local record store is Waiting Room Records. And they're also on Twitter at Waiting Room Records. They'll order anything for you. And Jared, who works there, who's also a friend of mine, is just the greatest. He's very knowledgeable. He won't make fun of you for any kind of music that you like. No judgment.
I could test that.
Which, he'd probably enjoy that. But he'll order anything for you, as well. And that's my favorite. It's my favorite store to frequent. And my band played there too, so I also like it for that. It's a nice place.
So does your band have any vinyl? Have you guys have?
We don't, and it's sad because actually the first album called Diplomat, we signed with a little mini tiny record label, and we were promised that we would have a vinyl record, and we didn't. So maybe that's a future endeavor that we can pursue. But I am disappointed in that. I would have liked to have that.
What would sound good on vinyl? That Nurture and Support theme song would sound awesome on vinyl.
Yeah, I really think it's the best format. But again, this is all a matter of preference. I like lo-fi, and I like that I can put on, like a Billy Joel record or a Smashing Pumpkins record or a Toto record, and in one sitting in the same format. That I don't know. To me, I like that I have all of these together, and it's so diverse and fun. So I'm glad there's a community out there that supports that. On Facebook, there's a Vinyl Lovers Unite, I believe is what it's called, but it's very similar. You can post about what you're listening to, share your pictures, latest finds, things like that.
So I'm gonna ask you a favor. Is that after the show, can you email either Mel or I some web addresses for both the Vinyl Lovers and Vinyl Me Please, so that we can include the link, because I'd like to spare our listeners the risk of doing a Google search on Vinyl Me Please and, or Vinyl Lovers. And so I'd like to direct them to these sites that you're talking about, just on the off chance.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. You know, I didn't think about that, but yeah, I will do that.
I have sensitive eyes. If I have to Google that, I might have a problem.
Don't do an image search, probably. Stay on the text.
Well, that's why I'm usually doing image searches, looking for a graphic to put up. So that wouldn't go well. That would not go well. That's cool. So you're promising me that they wouldn't make fun of my Xanadu album?
I don't think so, really. I mean, okay. I don't know. I think anymore there's so much retro cool stuff that's out there. It's like things that are so uncool, they're cool again, you know, and things that just for nostalgia, you know, makes it great. So I don't think so.
So you're saying they might make fun of me for
yeah, some of my
is what I'm hearing.
Can't count out everybody, you know, but I love that stuff. I say, you know, the cornier the better. I really enjoy it.
You know who makes awesome vinyl album packaging, don't you? Alice Cooper makes awesome vinyl packaging. There was a whole series of albums from Love It to Death, which was a calendar, $1 Billion Babies, a snakeskin wallet, Muscle of Love, a cardboard box. It's all pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, but see, and I think that I love that stuff, and I feel like you can't do that with, you know, MP3s and buying on iTunes. Not that that's not convenient and really great as well, but there's just something about, I just love having it, that I can hold it there, and I like all that.
Cool. So Mel, I'll speaking of all those awesome things that you can find in vinyl albums, I'll send you a photo of within the Alice Cooper Muscle of Love album, there was a book cover, and I'll send that to you, and you can make the decision whether we post it on the site or not. But it's pretty. It's a.
Okay.
It's the Institute of Nude Wrestling is the book cover, but just so you know, this was, you know, it was the album theme was Alice was a bunch, and the band was a bunch of sailors, and there was a sign that said live wrestle, live nude thing, and they were all excited, and then the backside of it, they were wrestling this large female gorilla, and she would beat the crap out of all of them. So
as long as she beats him up, I'm okay.
She was, yes, she cleaned house big time.
Oh, so y'all are obviously much more coordinated than me. I was always afraid I was going to scratch my records because, you know, I've always been a klutz, and man, having to put that needle on there, my older brother was always on me about if I scratched his records up. So I was always very, very, very paranoid that I was going to scratch those albums. I always did it very, very carefully and lived in fear every time. So I was kind of happy when tapes came out.
Yeah.
I didn't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, throw those in the back seat and you're fine, you know.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Just last question on the vinyl's kind of really exciting topic for me. I just love it there. Alicia, do you have any three-sided albums?
I do not. Now, are you talking about, like, give me an example, like the new Jack White album?
So Joe Jackson did one of them where basically on one side, so you know the basic premise on the vinyl record is it's this long spiral, you know, it's the groove that the needle runs through. Well, on a couple albums, what they did is they double grooved the album, so there were kind of two different start points, and on one album side you actually had two tracks to go in. So Joe Jackson did that on one, so it's just kind of cool. Monty Python, I think, actually did it on one as well. So.
Yeah. Well, and you know, I think that we're going to see more and more of that, or just the creativity that is put into the packaging, and then all the different things that can be done with vinyl. I just think that's going to emerge more and more because people are digging it. I think people are buying it, and I hope so. I hope there's a bigger market for it. I love shopping for music. I love going into a store and leafing through albums. I like doing that. I enjoyed it when it was CDs and tapes as well, but I'm really like, I like to have that back again, and it gives me a reason to frequent the record store and to go in and to have that experience. I enjoy that better than pressing a couple buttons and downloading something.
Flipping through albums, it's nothing better. It's fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So, I think that makes it my turn. Mine's going to be pretty short, so I'll spare y'all all the horrible sound. My recommendation this week is a website I think we've mentioned before that I like to do craft things. And this may be the last time you hear me because Kelly may kick me off the show after he hears this.
Don't do it, Mel. Don't do it.
It's a website called Crafty.com. And that's Crafty, C-A-C-R-A-F-T-S-Y, like Crafty.com. And what they do is do online courses for different kind of hobby type crafts. Now, taking online classes is, a thing these days. And while you can learn a lot of things on YouTube, which I've said before, well, maybe not on the show because Kelly gets mad when I talk about knitting. But I taught myself basically how to knit several years ago with the help of a book and basically YouTube. So while you can learn a lot of this kind of stuff on YouTube, it sometimes helps to actually take a class from someone who it actually knows how to teach these things. So that's what Crafty does, is they get these actual artisans who are pretty good at a particular thing, and they bring them to their studio. They film a series of classes, and these are not free. They do have a couple of free mini classes up there on different subjects, but for the most part, you're paying for these classes. And then they're online, and you can watch the video, and it's there forever. You always have access to it. They have neat little features built into the video where you can do a constant 30-second repeat loop if you're trying to see what they're doing. You can make notes in the video on your own little notepad. You can also ask the instructor questions, and they don't get back to you immediately, but they do answer your questions. So they cover all sorts of topics. There's obviously knitting and crocheting. They do weaving and spinning. They also do a lot of jewelry making. I was looking around to see what new stuff they had added actually earlier today, and they've got a lot of jewelry. I've mentioned before I like to make little polymer clay things, and while they don't have a lot of polymer clay stuff up there, they do have precious metal clay, which is if you haven't heard of it, is a neat thing where it's a clay that you make stuff out of, and then you fire it in a kiln, and it burns away the binder, and you're left with actually pure metal. So you can actually make a pure silver pendant or charm or whatever you want to make out of clay, and then it burns away to silver. And that is something, it's been around for years, but I've only just started to read a little bit about it, and of course I'm tempted to start yet another hobby that I need to not get into because that one might burn my house down. Since you can use a blowtorch to fire the little pendant, if you don't have an actual tabletop kiln, you can use a little blowtorch. And I think I might burn the house down if I tried that. But anyway, they also have classes on woodworking. There were a lot of woodworking ones. I was really surprised. There's some gardening ones, a lot of cooking, especially in the area of cake decorating and cupcakes and things like that. That's all big these days. And some gardening ones, in which case there's one I need to check out that I saw is a little free mini course on bonsai, and I love bonsai trees. So that is also something that might end up getting a lot of my money too if I start watching classes on it. But it's a neat website. I like the idea of it. There's a lot of places online where you have individual people trying to get you to buy, some video course that they've made themselves, and you never quite know what kind of quality you're going to get there. These people that they have here as instructors are people who actually are real instructors in these areas who, if you went to some of the big yarn festivals, things like that, these people, of course, most of my experience is going to be on the knitting with the knitting instructors over there. These are people who actually teach classes on a nationwide scale at the big yarn festivals on how to do things. And so these are people that know what they're talking about. This isn't just, somebody down the street who may not know what they're really talking about. So you can pretty much trust the quality of it. The production value on them is really good. It's not all of the instructors, you can tell some of them are a little scared at being on camera. But it's kind of cute and endearing in a way. And some of them have been doing it for years. So you get a wide range. I have probably taken, I think my library has like 10 different classes in it, and I've enjoyed all of them. I've learned something from all of them. So if you're looking to get into a hobby or something that you like doing and you would like a little bit of a more professional help doing it, it's nice to get the structure from an online class from an instructor who knows how to teach how to do a particular thing. So a lot of the classes that I've taken, they start out with a beginning, they have a purpose. Like, here's an example. I know Kelly's going to run out and knit a lace shawl, but they'll take you through the structure from the beginning of what you're doing from a little project and take you all the way through to the end. So it's a nice building exercise of how to go from, here's your knitting needles to a finished project. And that works a lot. I have real problems with, I just want to jump to the end and I don't do some of the beginning work. And so sometimes it's good to go through and make yourself do all of that so you know what you're doing. And I'm always starting new projects because I'm trying to learn a new stitch or a new way to do something, and I like seeing how these people who are considered professionals do it. So the production value on these videos are really good, and you can pause the video, and that little 30-second repeat is actually a really nifty feature. You can sit there trying to do something while the video is playing, and it will just continuously loop until you stop it, which was confusing the first couple of times because I couldn't figure out how to stop the loop. But it's actually pretty easy to work, and there's a community around it. The website itself also, on some of the classes, there are materials that you might need, and they sell some of them. You can get them cheaper from them all in a kit. But I would suggest that if anybody's interested in getting into something like that, that they go and they sign up on Crafty.com and get an account, look through some of the classes, maybe add some of them to your wish list, and sooner or later they will go on sale. I think probably the most expensive class I've seen on there has been about $30, and they will go on sale. Their classes go on sale all the time, so you'll get at least $10 off of those if you just wait a little while. So I've enjoyed it, and I thought I would share, because not a lot of people that I talk to on a day-to-day basis know about it, and yet they like to do all of these hobbies. So I've learned quite a bit there, and I've enjoyed all the classes that I've taken. So it's crafty.com, and you can go learn a new hobby. I know Kelly wants to go learn how to knit.
So I'd like to weigh in, if I could, for a moment. So, Mel, this sounds to me like an excellent recommendation. And someone who is interested in learning more about knitting, I can't think of a better place to go. As a matter of fact, I think this should be the only place they should go, and they should waste none of their time listening to pesky podcasts about knitting and instead spend their limited podcast dollars on nurture and support. So I'm all for sending people this website. Sounds great.
Okay. And you can go learn about bonsai, too, because I think that's pretty cool.
Which is not on the enemies list for nurture and support. Bonsai is safe, completely safe.
We like bonsai.
If we get beat by a bonsai podcast, man, that's good. They'll be so not cool.
No. They'd be so slow, and they'd probably kick our butts.
I'm cutting another leaf off. You can't see it. But awesome. That is
now
cool.
We're going to get in trouble. We're going to have bonsai people hating on us now.
I
love bonsai.
That's right. I'm not viewing them as much of a threat. I don't know. It could be wrong. It could be wrong. We'll see.
They'll show you.
Yeah, that's true. I've been wrong before. All right. Cool. Well, we'll go ahead then just to make a quick lap around the track on some social media recommendations. before we have a special announcement. So I'll go ahead and kick things off. And gosh, I should know this. Again, this is that kind of short-term memory, long-term memory thing. But so I'm really hopeful here that this is not a repeat recommendation, but I'm going to recommend the Hubble, following the Hubble. Am I good there, Mel? You haven't recommended the Hubble, have you?
No, I don't think
On
I have.
Twitter?
I think
Okay,
you're good.
Good, cool. I know Bad Astronomer was kind of right around that time. I was looking on the followings and all that. But so I will recommend, for the first time on Nurture and Support, the Hubble, which is at @space_Hubble. And so obviously this is a Twitter account connected to the Hubble telescope. And you can get some of those crazy awesome images from the vision-corrected Hubble telescope. So that would be my recommendation for social media recommendation.
Cool. I love Hubble images. They're awesome. All right, Alicia, do you have a social media?
Wow, you know what? I kind of forgot, actually.
That's
But
You could use your Vinyl Me or whatever.
I was gonna say that. So I just started watching Sherlock
Oh.
like 2 weeks ago, and I absolutely love it. And I can't believe I haven't watched it sooner. I've had so many people tell me to watch it, and I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it.
Thing of wonder.
Love it. But so there's like Sherlock quotes. I can find the the actual Twitter handle, but I think I like the show so much. I started following the Sherlock quotes on Twitter, and I just enjoyed that so much. It was like the times that you're not watching it, and you can just be immersed in those characters again briefly, if just for a moment of your day.
Yeah, well, that's great because I love Sherlock. I don't know if Kelly's ever seen it. Have you watched Sherlock yet?
I have not. It's been similar to Alicia. I've had a lot of people recommending that I watch it and saying I'd enjoy it. And it sounds pretty awesome. I've just not managed to pull it off yet. But
yeah, well, we've got another year until there's more episodes, so you've got plenty of time to catch up on the 6 that we've gotten.
And it's a short series, right? I mean, each season's only a few episodes, right?
There's only 3 episodes per season now. They're more like movie length.
They are.
There's only 3. Yeah, so you've got 6 to watch. It's not going to take a lot of time.
I think I can pull that off, and
not a lot of episodes, but long episodes.
Yeah, they're
totally
longer.
worth it. Totally worth it.
Yeah, they're beautiful. I love Sherlock.
So why is it good? I mean, what's is it the actors? Is it the cleverness? Is it just?
It's all of the above.
I know it's co-written by Stephen Moffat, right, Melissa? Who also is writer of Doctor Who.
Yeah, Mark Gatiss and Stephen Moffat.
Okay. And so the writing is fantastic, and also I don't know, the acting is superb. I really didn't know a lot about Benedict Cumberbatch, except I adore his name. It's really fun to say, and all of that. But when I saw him portray Sherlock, I just felt it just seems perfect. And like you were saying, visually, it's just stunning. There's so many things to look at. It's beautifully directed. I like everything about it. Yeah,
it's a work of art. You just have to see it, Kelly. It's hard to describe, and it's not just that everybody's crazy about Benedict Cumberbatch. It's really, really, really well done.
Although my sense is it doesn't exactly hurt. Okay, fair enough.
I won't say that it hurts, but it's just they're a good combination of fun, quirky, smart, and clever, and they're just so they're so cinematic. It's just they're beautiful. They're shot so well, and the dialogue is so good that you just have to love it. So you need to watch it. So there we go. Alicia's social media recommendation launches us into a whole nother recommendation.
Almost a quasi-recommendation. And so let's just keep dragging this puppy out. So let's do one more thing. Special announcement. I teased it a little bit earlier, and Mel will have the flexibility to just cut all this out if she wants to as well. But if our math is correct, we will be releasing this edition of Nurture and Support on February
I don't know. I don't have a
6th.
calendar.
February 6th, I believe, which is a Friday, I think.
Something like that.
Why this is important is that on February 8th, big day, Walking Dead comes back. That'll be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Even bigger day, it's the premiere of Better Call Saul. As a matter of fact, Better Call Saul is going to be on Sunday night and Monday night. And so we're still working on it, trying to figure out a couple of the things on it, but Mel and I are going to take a shot at doing a live recap of Better Call Saul 15 minutes after the episode. So it'll come on at 9 o'clock Central Time, so at 10:15 you are going to be treated to a little show that Mel and I like to call a Saul and Battery. And this is where you come in, Alicia, is that Saul and Battery probably needs a little, Saul and Battery, yeah, it's the show for me. It's,
all right.
I don't know, we'll have to figure it out. But,
okay. So this is going to be an ongoing thing. Like you're going to do this after every show? That's
our game
what
plan.
I'm hearing? Okay.
Yes, it is.
The plan.
Very nice.
And then what we really hope to do with it is, because of part of the reason we're going on pretty much right after the show, is to see if we can tap in to some of the people who are interested and passionate about it, so that we can kind of interact with them via Twitter or the Q&A on the Hangout, or if you get into Better Call Saul and want to come on and chat with us on it too one night, that would be really cool as well. But so we want to just try and engage people. And so we're going to play around with it. It's a slightly different format than the podcast, so it's pretty interesting. And so it's 10 episodes for the first season of Better Call Saul. We're going to try it. We're going to try and do it after each, and see how it works out.
Okay. And that's early February.
February 8th.
February 8th.
Sunday night.
Okay. Excellent. I will see what I can do. Definitely good material, so I can't complain about that.
Yeah. So cool.
Yeah, so if you're in your free time, you start to say, this is what the Saul and Battery theme song would sound like. We're open. We're very open.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Well, I think it's a great idea. I mean, not just the song, but also the endeavor. I love it. It's great.
Yeah. We have high hopes for this show. So.
Yeah.
The world needs more Saul Goodman or Jimmy McGill, whichever one he may be at the time.
And Mike Ehrmantraut and all. It's gonna be good. I'm hopeful. I just really, I guess I could get disappointed, but all indications are this is going to be pretty enjoyable. Not a carbon copy of Breaking Bad, but I think having many of the elements that made it an enjoyable show, which I think kind of parallels Sherlock in terms of good writing, cinematic, actors that hit it hard, do a real good job. So we'll see.
Yep. So yay.
Great.
Cool. So I think, does that wrap us up?
I think so. I think we're gonna probably now also have to get Matt Shivers back on again to get some a solid Battery voice work.
Yes, because we hit all our guests up for freebies. That's our MO.
That's right. But,
beware if we ask you to come on the show, everyone.
But we would have you on regardless. But we do really appreciate, Alicia, what you've done, because I said I really love the theme song, and it sounds really cool. And we just love having you on. You're always fun. So I hope you stay open to joining us in the future. We'll try not to be too needy if we have you on again.
Oh, thank you so much for the invitation. It's always a good time.
Cool.
Excellent. With that, we will turn it over to Matt, who will give you all the particulars on how you can connect up with us, and look forward to talking to everybody next week. Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.
You can contact us on our website, nurtureandsupport.net, or email us at nurtandsupp@gmail.com. That's NURTANDSUPP@gmail.com, or tweet us at nurtandsupp on Twitter.
Nurturing and supporting